Fuck. What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of Resident Deconstruction here, and today I'm bringing my review of Avengers Infinity War. I'm honestly at a loss for words. Truly. And but you guys already know this is a spoiler warning, so yeah, it's a lot to get through. First, let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Go see the fucking movie. It's great. Let's talk about some things in the movie. Going back to my theory video, I was right on a couple of things. I was right that, well, I had already pretty much confirmed that I was right about Vision being hidden in Wakanda. I was wrong about the third act of the movie taking place in Wakanda. I was kind of right and wrong with that theory. I was wrong about Heimdall having a soul stone. I was kind of bummed out about that, but I knew that it probably wasn't going to be the case. But it just would have been cool to have had given Heimdall that type of role or that type of importance in the movie. Because, I mean, who doesn't love Idris Elba? I was right about Loki dying. A few other things I was wrong about that I could fully... Anything in that video that I was wrong about, hey, I was wrong. But, yeah, this movie is something else, man. You guys really need to go see it. I wouldn't be surprised. Marvel had the balls to end the movie the way that they did. So, throughout the movie, it's kind of a heist film, figuring out Thanos finding the stones. The great things, because I don't want to have this be super, super long, the great things that I really, really loved about the movie were the story and the interactions between the characters, and especially Josh Brolin's performance as Thanos. He really gave a heartbreaking performance in this role. And you really feel for him once you understand his motivation and once you kind of really see how he works. I think he is a complex villain and a bit of a tragic villain, to be quite honest. And this movie is just all, like, the action is good. Like, it starts out like they were not lying when they said Thanos is going to be a threat. It starts out with Loki dying. Well, first Heimdall dies. He transports Bruce back to Earth. Then Loki dies trying to, get the jump on Thanos. And, he blows up their ship. Now, later on in the movie, Thor does say that he killed half of his people. So I'm assuming Korg, Meek, Valkyrie, they probably escaped somehow. But Thor said later on in the movie that he killed half of his people. After that, a lot of people die in the film. And while I don't think all of them are going to be permanent, I think the people that do die outside of the cataclysmic event of the finger snap, because they do have that in the movie. He does get all 6 stones and he does do the finger snap. I think the people that die outside of that are staying dead. I think the people that die as a result of the finger snap are going to get brought back. So Heimdall, Loki, I think, are staying dead. Gamora dies, and she dies in a really tragic way because to get the Soul Stone, and she knew the location of the Soul Stone. It was on some planet guarded by a gatekeeper or whatever, and it turns out to be the Red Skull, which was that got a really good pop. Like I've seen the movie twice already. And in my first viewing, the guy that was sitting next to me, both of us we literally had a holy fuck moment when the Red Skull revealed himself. When Red Skull tells him, like, there's a test that they're on top of this cliff, He's like, what is this? Oh, there's a sacrifice that needs to be made. What? And he's like, what you love the most. Like, in order for the stone to know that the person is willing to do whatever to wield it, you need to give up a sacrifice, trade a soul for a soul, the soul stone. And it's, what you love the most. Now, Gamora, which is really, really funny looking back on it, and even during my first viewing, I was like, what are you doing? Gamora starts taunting Thanos because she's like, oh, I knew karma. She was basically saying, I knew karma would come back around and, you get what you deserve. You love nothing. And his back is to her, and he's like crying and tearing up. And so he turns to her and she's like, tears, really? And not realizing it. And Red Skull says those tears are for him. And then she starts realizing, like, wait, what? And then he tells her, Thanos straight up tells her, look, I basically postponed my destiny once. I lost out on my destiny once. I won't do it again, even for you. And I think that was he threw her off the cliff to get the Soul Stone. And I think that was really, really heartbreaking. So it'll be bad to undo that in Avengers 4 or Guardians Volume 3. So I think Gamora is staying dead. So many people died in this movie, I can't even keep track of who died when. Vision, I think, is staying dead as well. Thanos ripped the Mind Stone out of his head. Now, Vision may or may not be able to come back because, as Shuri explained it, that it's a very delicate process of basically pulling the neurons or molecules or whatever, however they explained it in the movie. It's a very delicate process of pulling those apart. And, even one misfire can just cause like a bunch of failures. And so Thanos just rips it right out of his head in a very amazing fashion as well. But I think Vision is staying dead as well. And then after he, does the finger snap, Scarlet Witch, Bucky, Falcon, Black Panther, all of the Guardians except for Rocket. So Drax, Mantis, Groot, Star-Lord, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's death. There were 3 deaths in the movie. Like, in my first viewing, I'm full on, like, rooting for Thanos mode. Peter's death almost broke that. And in the second viewing, I can barely contain myself. Like, I was trying very, very hard not to cry. Vision and Scarlet Witch, Bucky, Gamora, and Spider-Man. Spider-Man's being the most, like, heartbreaking. Like, I think Vision and Scarlet Witch's death is heartbreaking because throughout the movie, Vision is telling Wanda, like, hey, you have the power to destroy the stone. Like, if it comes down to it, just destroy it. Take me with it. At least he won't get the stone. And so, when the end game is near, and he's going after the Mind Stone, which I was also correct on my order of the Infinity Gems being correct from the posters and the order that he gets them. He starts out with the Power Gem, the Power Stone. He gets the Space, the Reality Stone, the Soul Stone, the Time Stone on the thumb, and then he drops the Mind Stone in last. Going after the Mind Stone, Wanda kills Vision, blows the stone up. Thanos rewinds that with the Time Stone, undoes it, and rips it out of his head. So that's heartbreaking because Wanda had to watch Vision die twice, and Vision had to die twice. That's why that's heartbreaking. Like, literally, she did it for no reason. And then she was one of the people that got, dissolved in the finger snap annihilation. Bucky was heartbreaking because he was the first person to, like, evaporate. Captain Steve's reaction is just so crazy. Like, it didn't seem real because Bucky calls his name, falls down, collapses into dust or whatever like that. And Cap walks over there looking confused, and then he touches the ground where Bucky fell. And you just know that running through his head is like, wait, is this real? What just happened? And he's probably processing like all of this. I already explained why Gamora's death was tragic, because Thanos really truly does love Gamora as his own daughter. And to make that sacrifice is big. Like the fact that you knew, like she went there, like he took her with him because she knew where the Soul Stone was. And to hear that, hey, you have to, trade the soul of the one you love, the one you most love, in order to get the Soul Stone, and he still went through with it. That's major. And then I think the most impactful was Peter's, because he's a fucking kid. And even in the moment that I think most people may or may not agree with, the moment that got me was when he was grabbing at Tony and basically like telling him, pleading with him that he didn't want to go. And that really choked me up in the theaters. Not him, because he started out saying, I don't feel so good. And he hasn't quite started evaporating yet. But then, he like rushes Tony and grabs him and hugs him and basically says, hey, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And it's like, holy fuck, this is a kid. Like Tom Holland is obviously like 20, but it's like Peter Parker is like, what, 15, 16? It's like, this is a kid. He's a boy. And that's it. So I think those are the moments that got me, that are the most heartbreaking when you go back and think about it. But overall, the movie is great. Go see it. I think the one thing that I didn't like about the movie was the time. I wish it was longer, because then we could have gotten a couple of extra moments. Like, we didn't see him get the Power Stone, and we didn't see him get the Reality Stone. I would have liked to have seen him decimate Xandar to get the Power Stone, and I would have liked to have seen him destroy the Collector's museum to get the Reality Stone, because we don't know if the Collector is dead. He used the Reality Stone to draw Gamora in, and it was like, hey, he's stepping on the Collector's chest. He's interrogating him about the whereabouts of the stone. I would have liked to have seen if he killed him or not. We can assume he did, but if we didn't see it, how do we know it happened? If we had a little bit more time, we could have got one of those two scenes, if not both, as well as a little bit more fleshing out with the Black Order. The Black Order I liked. They kind of went out a little bit too quickly for me. Like, they were a threat, and that was the good thing. That's the reason why I'm not really all that heartbroken about their deaths. But the fact that we could have gotten more with them, more time with them to be menacing, I think would have made a much bigger impact on that front. But yeah, time is the main thing that I don't like, because if you lengthen the movie a bit, maybe add 30 extra minutes, make it a 3-hour movie, all that stuff can be added. Or that's all the extra scenes and extra development is a plus if the movie is longer. But since it's short, those are the things that I don't like about it. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, go watch the movie. It's great. A rating, I know I don't normally do ratings, but literally this is a 10 out of 10 with those caveats about time, because pacing is, it doesn't seem like a 2 hour 36-minute movie. It does not at all. And I think the pacing is really, really good, but when it comes to some more of those character beats or those character moments, you just wish they were a little bit longer. But other than that, this movie is great, man. I cannot wait to see it again. I'm trying to actually go again tonight. Like, people are distraught, and I would not, like, my first showing, there was a woman sitting maybe a couple of seats down from me that was really mad at the end of the movie, because they ended after, all the people have dissolved, and it's just like, damn. And Thanos said at one point in the movie, when somebody asked him, like, what are you going to do after you get all the stones and you wipe out, I think it was Gamora. She's like, what are you going to do after you wipe out half of the existence? He was like, go have a seat in front of a sunset above a graceful universe or something like that. And that's what he did. Like, Thor went and got Stormbreaker, which is, that hammer is fucking huge. Like, the handle, like group made the handle, and it's literally like the size of my arm. And it looks really, really weird when he wields it. Like, I'm too used to the short handle of Mjolnir. But he gets Stormbreaker made. He comes in because it's supposed to be like a Thanos killer. He throws it at Thanos. Thanos uses the power of the Infinity Gauntlet to kind of like try to shield it, but it basically cuts through the energy beam right in his chest. Thor, comes up, talking shit to him. And I think one of the best lines in the movie, Thanos is like trying to get his breath ready because he has this big ass axe hammer in his chest. And he's just like, you should have gone for the head. And then he snaps his fingers and it's like, got a point. And after he snaps his fingers, Thor's like, what did you do? Trying to figure out what's going on. And then he uses the Space Stone to teleport himself away. And then, the movie ends on him like limping out to this, balcony or whatever like that. And he literally takes a seat. The sun is setting. And, he takes in the moment and then he smiles. And then the film literally cuts off right there. And this woman was like, you son of a bitch. And it was the funniest thing in the world. Nobody clapped after this movie. There was one guy sitting down from me who literally had the look of utter disappointment on his face. Like, people were sad after this movie. And people are depressed. I would not be shocked if word of mouth gets around that Infinity War is bad because of the way that it ended. I would absolutely not be shocked at that. But I was the only person happy at the end of the movie. Because I was like, yes, they have the balls to end it that way. Now we have to wait a year. The wait for Avengers 4 is going to be terrible. But let's enjoy this movie while we can. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. So, yeah. I'm planning on doing a film debate podcast for the channel. Maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, depending on who I can get to do it. I have a friend who wants to do it. The first one isn't going to really be a debate. It's going to be a discussion about Infinity War. And then going forward, ideally, they're going to be debates like, hey, I think Iron Man 3 is one of the best MCU films. This person doesn't. And we're going to talk about why. So hopefully that'll be a new thing, ongoing thing for the channel. So, yeah. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully that actually comes to fruition. I know I said I have a lot of ideas and nothing ever comes of it, but I really want this to be a thing. So yeah, go check out the movie, guys. Go see it. It's a good movie. Don't believe any word I'm saying is bad. That's just people who are salty about the ending. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later.